Transfers today. We've announced a player, Andres Garcia. We talked about him. I think I did a transfer talk show a couple of days ago, and then when it was almost there, I kind of featured him again. I don't know how much you know about him, but it looks like €6 million or £6 million, from Levante. 21 years of age. He's sort of 6'1", right back, but he's both footed. Seems very attacking, and I don't know whether he will be a pushing Matty Cash right from the off. I'm not too sure whether they brought him in with that in mind or whether to bring him up as the season goes on to more pressure next season. But what do you think about it, first of all, in terms of bringing in this guy from Levante as a signing?
Yeah, well, like most, I've never heard of him, to be honest. Never heard of him, but I do like his profile. I think he fits that youth development category that we're sort of buying into. Jalkovic, Duran 18 months ago, Rodgers picking up this talent and who are playing first team football and then bringing them in and moulding them. And he'll, by the looks of it, I think he'll have this half a season at Villa, and his adaptation periods, and he'll work on him. And it looks like Nedeljkovic then might go out on loan, so he's kind of like in and around the first team potentially. And I've had a look at his profile. I've watched his highlights, and I know historically watching highlight reels, you shouldn't do it.
Ali Samata springs to mind.
Yes, Tonev as well. We got Burr by Tonev, but the available stats that you've got now to back up them highlights, it can paint a picture of his profile really well. And yeah, he's very progressive. He's very attack minded. Some of the highlights I watch, he's cutting inside, he's pinging them with his left foot, top corners and stuff. So they've obviously identified something in him, and we stole a march on the likes of Sporting and stuff who was eyeing him up as well. And you've got to convince these players to come to our club and show that there's a route to the first team, and that is you've got examples of it, and there you go, son. This is a big opportunity, and so it's an exciting every young signing a youngster that with a bit of potential. It's exciting, isn't it? Most people like to get behind them type of
absolutely, and look, if you look at the track record of what we've done with players who were what you might class as rough diamonds, Morgan Rodgers, who you've just mentioned, John Duran even, look at what they would fetch now in the market in terms of a transfer fee. So if he comes in and has the impact, even half the impact that Rodgers has had, obviously in his respected position, you're talking about signing someone for $6 million and probably selling them for 30, 40 million if everything goes well, which is, as you've pointed out before, and I've sort of mentioned on this, this is kind of like the middle part of the strategy in terms of the three-pronged transfer strategy, say polishing these rough diamonds and potentially being able to sell them for huge money, or obviously they carry on in the first team and help us progress.
Yeah. Everybody respects what Brighton are doing, and look, the amount of money they've made doing that. And we're sort of like, it's sort of like following that same philosophy, really, isn't it? And you've got your first teamers that come in, your Pau Torreses, your Yuri Tillemans, your Ananas. Then, like you say, you've got these youngsters, rough diamonds that we can polish up, and then you've sort of got this crazy PSR trading people sort of over here, just doing mad things every window to window. That kind of makes our transfer strategy look a bit chaotic. But when you look at the first two categories, then you see the strategy then, and we're doing what we need to do, aren't we, to hit that PSR marker in the rest of the deals.
We seem to have a thing with Chelsea about helping each other out with PSR. I think Newcastle have the same with Nottingham Forest. So these clubs have and maybe we did a little bit with Everton as well this year. Yeah. Now it looks like Diego Carlos is moving on. It's been confirmed now, I think, from Fenerbahce that he's agreed in principle to sign for them. I think he's over there now having his medical and what have you. A bit of a, with Carlos, it's just a funny one, isn't it? Because he's had so many really good games, well, not so many really good games, but the high profile games, the Man Cities, the Arsenals, he's played so well in those games. Yet one or two other games, maybe the lower profile games, he's kind of made the odd mistake here or there, or lost that little bit of concentration. And I felt like maybe the injuries hampered him, but the Carlos that we probably wanted in terms of being a rock and a wall at the back and winning every header and winning every tackle, we maybe haven't quite seen that with him over his Villa career. But like I say, albeit some really good performances.
Yeah, I think when he come in, Gerrard weren't really seeing eye to eye with Tyrone Mings, was he? And it sort of felt like, okay, is this a Mings replacement? Man mountain, win the ball and stuff like that, but never really give off that aura, did he? Like for the games, and like you say, the big games, like on his CV, 2 man of the matches against Arsenal, City, Bayern, like absolute baller. Well, absolute brilliant. His diagonal balls as well, but then comes the lack of concentration. And how many times have we seen him like working out from the back and give the ball away and put ourselves under pressure and like scrambling around at the back, and it just could never really find that consistency. And you know what Emery's like, man. He's like he's a beacon for consistency, isn't he?
Yeah, once you've plotted your copybook, you have to work very, very hard to get back into it.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like we tried to move away from Carlos in the summer, and we ran out of time. And like a lot of these deals that we're doing now in this window is kind of finishing off what we didn't get finished in the summer. I think like time beat us. We heard Vidagani and Monchi talk, didn't we, before the start of the season, how stressful it was, and they couldn't celebrate qualifying for the Champions League because they're stressing out about PSR and getting through. And it feels like, Carlos was due to move on, and it just ain't quite been right, has he, all season. And he made his comments before he left, wasn't he, saying he weren't injured and stuff like that. So bit of a sour ending to his Villa time, but like you say, on his CV, he's got some great wins for Villa. And like when you watch the highlight reels of all these great Villa victories under Emery, he's going to be in all of them, isn't he? Because he was superb at the big occasion.
Yeah. Just turn up for the big game, just for the highlight reels. Yeah. That's what Diego did, basically. Yeah, exactly. Now it looks like we're going to get about 10 million, I think, £10 million or something like that. I don't know. It's a bad transfer fee. I think he's 31. I think he's on big wages as well, which I think was a big part of it. But Louie Barry is the potential signing. I don't know whether there's a bit of negotiation, a bit of brinkmanship, but apparently we put in a 21 million euro bid with some add-ons. They're adamant they want 30 million euros. I'm sure something will get done, but I think Monchi might be playing hardball, saying he doesn't want to go above the 25 million euro mark. But can you see that being made this week? Can you see that getting over the line, or do you think we might go for other targets?
Yeah, potentially. It's not. We don't seem to let one go without having one lined up, or we'll bring one in and the deal's done to move another player on. So I feel like we'd be leaving ourselves very short if we have let Carlos go now and without the replacement lined up. But you know what transfers are like. You can break down at any time, and you can leave yourself. You can leave yourself short, but. Like the profile of that kid as well. Good structure, good figure, like very quick along the ground, and moldable. Like Emery's is an architect, isn't he? He can mould these players into how he likes, and that there is a perfect profile for Emery to work with.
Yeah, no, we definitely need centre backs, like you said before with Konsa. Look, that was not good when he went down in that position. So we definitely need someone. So I'm hoping that one's pretty much the next one on in line. What about Louie Barry? Like, he seems to be the talk of everyone, with regards to whether he is going to be involved in the first team or whether he is going to be sent on loan or even sold. We've seen Celtic interested. I think Racing Club Lens are interested the other day. Every Championship club, I'm pretty sure, is interested in him. But, Unai Emery seems to be impressed with him. What do you think?
Yeah, like I said, the kid had huge potential. He ended up at Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? And I think he was the first English kid to be picked up and go there. So that just proved the potential he had. And then obviously we snapped him up, and he had a few loan deals that didn't quite work out. He had a good period at Swindon. And then you look for him to kick on again. He struggled with a couple of injuries, and he went MK Dons, and I think he went Ipswich, and never really settled. And then he rocked up at Stockport last season, and he had, albeit it was League Two last season, but he kind of found a home, and he kind of found a manager that believed in him or put him in a position where he can excel, and it's key to his attributes. And he really had a good season last season, and he pulled his hamstring, didn't he? And he had to have surgery, and that killed his season. But come back, and they got promotion, and he went back again. He just hit the ground running again and really settled. And you feel, okay, there is something about you, even if it is at a lower level. We've seen the likes of Grealish go down to League One. We've seen Ramsey go down to League One and then come back and join us and kick on in the Premier League. So I'd imagine Emery's having a good look at him. So there is the potential for him to stay if Emery likes him, or like you say, he might go, okay, he needs another loan. Let's give him at a higher level. If a loan to Celtic is on, there's a greater level. Come back, we'll assess you again. Or it could be like Finn Azaz, where he went to Plymouth, didn't he? He raised his profile there in the Championship, and we ended up selling him to Middlesbrough, didn't we, for money? So, yeah, it all depends on this little assessment period that he's going through now and what happens with him. But I always root for young talent, youth talent.
Yeah,
you always like to see someone come in. I'd like to see him given an opportunity if he's good enough. But the problem we've got is the level we're at now. Like, the level when he joined and he scored that goal against Liverpool in the FA Cup, we was at a right lower level there, weren't we, compared to where we're at now and how sophisticated our play can be and what's demanded of you. And there's a lot of information to take on board. So it's not easy to step into this Villa team. So, we trust in Unai, don't we, to make a decision on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if he is going to impress in training, then I think there is an opportunity there to give him minutes and to give him time in the Premier League, because as we've seen, one or two games in one or two appearances in the Premier League, one or two, with the likes of Chukwuemeka, even with the likes of Kellyman last season, that adds a good few million onto a price tag that you can then charge to other clubs, and if he scores or something like that as well, which I think he's got that bit of arrogance about him. I've said this a few times. I think he's got that bit between his teeth that maybe he's a bit different to say what a Cameron Archer might not have had. Like, I feel like he would just, whatever level he's at, he would kind of back himself to just get the ball, cut inside, particularly from that left-hand side, and just hit it from anywhere, like a bit like John Duran does, maybe go outside, think outside the box a little bit to, do something out of nothing. I think maybe Barry's got that sort of instinct about him. So, yeah, I can see that. I can see that maybe happening for him this season. But, yeah, either way, I think we come out of it on top because of the fact he's had such a good first half of this season and as you say, a first half of the last season, which has obviously done his reputation really good.
Yeah, 100%. So, let's see what happens with him.